Welcome, friends. Today, we are starting another first impression series. Incredible. That's right, friends. Once again, we are back and we are starting another first impression series. This time on the house of Anatole Lebreton. Last year, I was recommended by Pradeep, I believe, that I should try the house of Anatole Lebreton. And I thought, go on then. So I bought all the samples that were available at the time. And here they are, before you. It came with this handy little handcrafted artisanal fragrances card, as original as you. What if I'm a clone? Can you clone ducks? I don't know. If I was a clone, I wouldn't have anything to do with myself. So sorry for the delay. It did take a little while to get here, but it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not going to run out of perfume. I do not know what's in this sample set, as this will truly be a first impression series. We like to keep it legit round here. I'll be doing 4 at a time. There's considerably more than 4, I can tell you. I think there's about 10, maybe more. But we'll see. I'm just going to use the first 4 that come out. Okay? Anatole Lebreton. Let's see if there's any kind of write-up. Oh, yes there is. Oh, there's a considerable write-up. Anatole Lebreton is a niche fragrance house from France, offering parfums de liberté, perfumes of freedom. The brand was named after its owner and perfumer, Anatole Lebreton, whose name suggests his origins in Brittany, in the countryside by the sea. After honing his passions on the stage, Lebreton entered the business world, first selling fine chocolates and rare teas. Ooh, that's my kind of jam. I get in touch with him. Which helped him develop and sharpen his sense of smell and taste. Fine chocolates and tea. I love both of those things. A passionate collector of old perfume. My God! A passionate collector of old perfumes, Anatole first began writing about fragrance on his blog, Sleeping Civet au Bois Lumiere, and then decided to cross the threshold and venture into creation. Armed with intuition, hard work to confront technique, a knowledge of the history of perfumes, and a sharp sense of free and boundless exploration, he launched his eponymous brand in 2014. Anatole Lebreton perfumes tell stories, redolent with emotions and enthusiasm. Lebreton perfumes dress you up and unveil you at the same time, inviting you to connect with primal and the carnal. Ooh. So, let's see what we get here. Just a completely random. I'm going to count how many I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 perfumes here. So, what's that? That's around 1 a year. That's not the worst. That's not the worst of release rates. Some people release like 4 a year, and it's like, well, I mean, seriously, like, if you really put that much, have you put that much effort in? Okay. So first up, we have L'Eau de Merzhin. Sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation. Grimoire. I've heard of Grimoire before. Bois Lumiere. And Cornaline. Okay then. Right. Not forward to this actually. Where about? Oh. So I got 4 sample sticks out before I started and completely forgot that they were there. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, fuck it. We'll start with L'Eau de Merzhin. Released in 2014. It is a fragrance for men and women. L'eau de Merzhin is the scent of a childhood spent running around in meadows, venturing through the deep mossy woods and the mysterious moors of the Breton countryside of France, a nostalgic stroll on the other side of the mirror, in an enchanting landscape with hawthorn groves blossoming in the very first days of spring. When the earth is damp and the grass is lush, the flowing water sings and the first flowers bloom, gently spreading their scent all around the prairies. Okay. Excuse me. Oh. Big green. The fragrance features galbanum, angelic violet leaf, cassie, magnolia, hawthorn, fluve, made from grass, hay, tonka bean, orris, and oak moss. So I get the iris big time. I get the galbanum big time. The iris is rather big. This feels very... It's got that hay note that's in loads of stuff. There must be some kind of material that is like described as hay, and it's in quite a few things, you know. This is reminding me of another perfume that's also got absinthe in it. But this doesn't have absinthe in it. It's got very strong iris. That hay galbanum sort of thing going on. Very green. Bit of tonka. Powdery. The iris is really dominant. The iris is really giving it big licks. We've smelled these materials before in other independent niche perfume house kind of things. It's got that wax, it runs that line between wax and iris. Wax and powdery, sorry. The iris is all encompassing at the minute. Absolutely massive iris. This is. Hay, but it's like a green hay, like grassy green type of thing. It smells like it smells warm and fresh at the same time. Plenty of moisture. Like it rained. It rained a while ago. Like the soil isn't dry, but it's not wet either, you know? It could do with a little bit of soil, this actually. Something a little bit darker to just give it a little bit of... It's very airy and it's very out there, you know, it's up in the air kind of thing. It doesn't feel grounded. It feels like he's tried to use the orris to ground it. But it's given this kind of cloudy vibe. It's nice, the materials are nice and it smells nice, but I can't imagine wearing this. It's very spring perfume. He's nailed the spring vibe. Like the actual vibe of what he... Excuse me. The vibe of what he's going for. He's got, you know, it matches like the mission statement, if you know what I mean. But yes, next up we have Grimoire. And I have heard of this. I think this has been around for a while. Is there a blurb? Let's have a look. No blurb. No blurb. What is this? The samples aren't bad, you know. Here we have Grimoire. Let's see what it says. Incensey, clean, lemon, fresh pledge type thing. Good grief. Wow. Ooh, that's Elamy. Incense, lemon, that's Elamy. Yikes. I'm just going to have to refill my hydration. Excuse me whilst I rehydrate. Woof. That was quite sharp. There's something... I think there's lavender. There is lavender. Something a little bit funky as well. Now, there's no blurb for this, so I can't tell you what's in it. Patchouli? But like a funky patchouli, like a kind of like there's a bit of stank in here, you know, like a bit of BO, could be cumin, musk. That first blast right off the top is like eye-watering, mouth-watering, lemon incense, cleansed with fire kind of thing. Some kind of wood. Good grief. Whew. It's calmed down a lot now and it's a lot more approachable. That was quite... Wow. Literally felt as though someone had poured like or sprayed bleach into my face. Do you know what I mean? That was rough. There is some kind of underarm funk. It's quite clever actually. It's well done. It's well done, absolutely. A clever little fragrance. I couldn't wear this because of the... I couldn't wear this because of the cumin or musk or animalis or whatever that underarm skank is, but how he's used the lavender to even out... It's the lavender and the cedar are kind of like evening out the incense, like lemon incense, elamy madness. I don't know if you've ever like used or had pure elamy resin. I've got some somewhere. It's over here. And it's harsh. You get up to it and you smell it. It's really like eye-wateringly harsh, and that's what I got straight off the top of this. The skank's coming through a lot more now. It's quite... I really do get like BO, like nasty BO as well from cumin, which is unfortunate. If there was something else, if the patchouli was stronger, lavender and patchouli were stronger in that, and there was no cumin, I'd really, really enjoy that. Apart from that initial blast, which was just wow. Quite wow. Good Lord. Okay. Next up, we have Bois Lumiere. I think I've heard of this one as well. This one's got a write-up. Somewhere under a blazing sun in a garrigue scene so dry it is ready to burst into flames, someone in love lazily sunbathes, warming their skin under the Mediterranean sun. Bois Lumiere is a story of tanned bodies and landscapes ablaze, of dazzling light that makes you squint. It spreads on your skin like thick honey on a languorous wooden background. From the sea far away, a dry, hot breeze rises, a desert wind of immortelle flower blowing on your dreamy skin for hours. It's an amber fragrance, Corsican juniper, clary sage, mandarin orange, balsam fir, honey, rose, carnation, immortelle, beeswax, atlas cedar, and benzoin. I am expecting creaminess. And it's got that kind of honey, dark honey kind of colour to it. It's stained the stick. It's promising a lot. Let's see what it delivers, shall we? It's very honey, but it's not like bracing honey. It's not. It's moist, it's wet, it's a little bit runny. That's the benzoin doing that. It's giving it this creaminess, this liquidity, this viscousness. Viscousness is not a word, but it could be. Or could it? Yes. Yes, it could. Ever so slightly sharp, like a little bit of like some pepper spice kind of thing. And I mean the briefest of hints. Could be the carnation, that. Or the immortelle. It might be the immortelle. In fact, it's almost certainly the immortelle. But I imagine the carnation's talking between the immortelle and the benzoin. Because that's kind of what carnation's like. This kind of ever so slightly spiced, creamy, floral kind of thing. You know, very clever. The cedar as well. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. It's thirsty work doing first impressions. This is a lovely honey note. Beeswax and honey. Sounds like overkill. He's given it depth with the immortelle. I'm starting to get like a feel for the brand. Like what he'll do is he'll try to give something depth like he did with the iris in the first one. It's very kind of cloudy and floaty, but the iris gives it this kind of density, you know, not just like a passing fluffy cloud, but a cloud that could possibly turn to rain. In this, the immortelle gives it that kind of density, that gravity that a heady perfume needs, you know, to like when something's very rich and very opulent, very kind of like narcotic almost. You need something to keep your feet on the ground, and that's what he does. He uses something like immortelle or iris to do that, but it's not like, it's like you're floating close to the ground rather than actually got your feet on the ground. This is nice, but the honey's a little bit one-dimensional. It's nice though. I get that little bit of fizz from the juniper. There's a tiny bit of greenness as well, which you're probably getting from a tiny little bit from what's it called? What was it, balsam? Maybe the rose is a little green as well. It's nice that though. That is actually really nice. I like the first one and I like that one. And so we come to the last one, friends. The last of our 4 today. Excuse me whilst I hydrate once again. What do we have? Cornaline. Cornaline, what is your write-up? In the morning, it's a sun's salutation, a barefoot empress in an exotic garden caressing the blooming ylang-ylang. In the evening, it's an Argentine tango, an aphrodisiac delicacy, fiery and terribly sensual. Do you hear the fortune teller, the whispers of the nymphette? Come, come and taste the fruits of the secret garden. Will you succumb to the temptation? Probably not. My mum told me not to do things like that. Cornaline. No notes here. So let's see what we got. Oh, shy. Some kind of violet, Parma violet, massive Parma violet vibe. Oh, I don't like Parma violet at all. So that's this fucked. For me anyway. Right, it's dying down a little bit now. It's floral. It's tangy. It's a bit powdered. It's like grind, you know, like chalky, you know, like Parma violets in the pack. They'll grate against each other and they'll like break away and stuff like that. Something a bit more... It's definitely powdery. I mean, it's powdery as all fuck. Jesus. It's fruity as well. Fruity. Something a bit rosy and fresh in there. Creamy now, a little bit of creaminess. I got this zingy, tangy, chalky Parma violet thing at the beginning. That is, I mean, it was bang, massive aldehydes is what it smelled like straight away. Violet, aldehydic, chalky Parma violet thing. That was ugly for me. I imagine if you like that kind of smell, you'll love it. It's becoming a lot denser now. It feels like it's becoming a lot more. I wouldn't be surprised if there was iris in here as well. It's doing that same thing that the first one did. Which is... I can't read what it says. L'eau de Merzhin. Oh, fuck it. I'll read it when I get it up in a minute. There's something fruity, creamy, zingy, yellow, floral. Creamy. I bet this has got the iris in it as well. It's more musky. It's very musky in its way. You know? Creamy as well. It reminds me a bit of Patchouli Magnetic by Crivelli. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Yeah, I'm not. That is not. I mean, it's nice. It's good. It's interesting. If you like violet, Parma violet, fruity, creamy sort of things, try that by all means. But wow, that shocked me quite a bit. And it smells like something I've smelled before as well. you know. Anywho, let's go back over these first four and we will see what I think. First up, L'eau de Merzhin. L'eau de Merzhin. That's really nice, but I feel like I've smelled it before in something. Maybe it's from an Angelos creation or another house, you know, like another niche indie house. Like these materials in this kind of setup. I feel like I've smelled them before. It's nice, but it's not something I would necessarily want to smell on myself. Next up we have Grimoire. Grimoire. That has got massive overtones of Laves by Filippo Sorcinelli. That sweat, what Duro described as a sweaty priest. It's got that. It's got sweaty priest about it. I think it was Duro. Somebody I know described Laves as sweaty priest. But it's got that. It's got sweat. It's got incense. It's got elemi. It's ecclesiastical. It's very, very... It's interesting, but I prefer Laves. I feel like Laves is more kind of finished. Next up, we have Bois Lumiere. Did you shock me, Bois Lumiere? Honey. I like this one the most so far, but the honey's a little bit one-dimensional. It feels like a material. It feels like I'm smelling not an accord, not a joined-up piece. It feels like I'm smelling one material with lots of other things going on around it. You know? Imagine a maypole. You've got a maypole in the middle, which is the honey. Then you've got all the Morris dance, like all the dancers round it, holding on to straps attached to the maypole. You know, and they're all doing things, but the maypole's the thing that's in the centre, taking up and forms the basis of the perfume. The stuff dancing around it, swirling around it, but not actually touching it. It's nice though. I might try that on skin. We'll see. I've got some pretty impressive honey fragrances though. And next up and last, we have Cornaline. That's still got that Parma Violet, chalky, tangy, sweet, slightly creamy now vibe. You know? It's got that about it. It reminds us of my grandmother. I fucking hated Parma Violets and she used to give us them. Because she liked them. Bad cow. I can see some people really loving that actually. Just not me, you know. But there we have it once again, friends. Another first in a new instalment of the First Impressions. This has been Anatole Lebreton. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I will see you all again soon.